If I mention cattle ranching, you'd probably think of some wide open spaces in Texas or maybe Colorado. But we're here in Northern California, where cattle ranching and conservation are all part of one ranching family's future. Scott Stone is always happy to share a cowboy song with visitors on land that's been home to cattle ranching since the California Gold Rush. And just as in the past, it's land that's often worked on horseback, as Scott, his brother Casey, their wives and families raise grass-fed Black Angus cattle.
Consumers today are much better educated than they were in past years, I think. And the beauty of the beef business that we're in today is that we are able to offer so many choices to the consumer.
Scott and Casey joined their dad Hank, who established the Yolo Land and Cattle Company in the 1970s. From the beginning, the concept was to raise beef in harmony with the land.
We'd like to see this ranch return to the state that it used to exist in 100 years ago, because 100 years ago what you saw on the hillside was perennial grasses. You didn't have the invasive species that we have now that have come in California over the last 100 years.
Today, the family runs more than 700 head of their cattle on rangeland enhanced by their conservation projects, including rotational grazing, solar-powered irrigation, and reestablishing native plants. The ranch won a National Environmental Stewardship Award in 2007, and they took steps to protect these rolling hills from encroaching urban development.
In 2005, we decided as a family to work with the California Rangeland Trust, which is a nonprofit land trust in the state of California, and we put a conservation easement on 7,000 acres of this ranch. So this ranch is now protected in perpetuity and will remain a working cattle ranch in perpetuity.
But raising cattle or crops in the heartland often means challenges. This season, a lack of rain left watering holes nearly empty, raising questions about how many cattle the ranch could sustain. Happily for the Stones, late spring storms made all the difference.
7 inches of rain at the right time can make a tremendous difference. And there's no way we can make that happen. The good Lord provides that extra rain. And the grass is growing, I think, faster than I've ever seen it grow the last month. And that makes us smile as cattlemen.
There are other challenges faced by ranchers today. Concerns not only about the environment, but animal welfare, and marketing questions about what consumers want. To that end, the family often hosts visitors, like these chefs in training from the Culinary Institute of America.
I work at a restaurant in New York where it's farm to table.
When you're trying to market and promote your product, which in our case is beef, it's important that people see that you're doing it, that you're producing it in a manner in which they and you can be proud of.
There's a reason why the annual grasses have kind of taken over, because the animals have selectively grazed out the perennials over the years. From an ecological standpoint, they're much healthier grass to have.
Come on, girls. We provide grass-finished cattle, and we also sell cattle into grain-finished markets. So really, we're covering all gamuts of the industry for consumers who have different choices about what kind of meat that they want to eat.
Being in the food industry, we have a responsibility, inherent responsibility, to try to teach people how we produce our food and that we're doing it in a safe manner.
The Stone family is already looking ahead to the next generation. Youngsters Carson, Wilson, and Keeley may someday join their parents to continue a ranching tradition. But they admit you need to love the work along with the lifestyle.
It's our passion. It's who we are. I mean, this isn't an 8 to 5 job. It's a 24/7, 36-hour-a-day job. And it never stops. I mean, when you're dealing with live animals, you have a huge responsibility to take care of them. And that's who we are, and we're very passionate about it.
We've tried to make this place better than the way we found it, and to be good stewards of the land. We may think we own it, but we just are caretakers for a short amount of time before we pass it on to the next generation.
When you go out here on a horseback chasing cows and the flowers are blooming, the birds are chirping, I mean, that's what makes life spectacular, and not many people have the opportunity to be out here doing that.